And welcome crypto enthusiasts to another interesting day on the never-ending crypto market. And real quick before we jump in, go ahead and laugh at my 64 subscribers on YouTube. That's okay, we are just getting started. If you appreciate some no-nonsense charts with no bogus about 3,000, 5,000, 20,000% returns on a coin you've never heard of, go ahead and hit that subscribe. And let's get right into the charts. Now, of course, as an important reminder, we are not a financial advisor, nor do we purport to be one. We don't have a license for financial advice, nor are we trying to give you any. We prefer to share our analysis and chart work and frankly chat about it. So if you got some ideas of what you think about our charts, go ahead and let me know. Always curious to hear. So let's get right in. This is the Stellar Lumens chart that we had drawn back on April 19th when we were starting to get concerned about bearish movement. And frankly, this chart has held up really nice. And I've got some updates to it. We came up, we hit, it's just stellar. We came up, we hit this sort of floating resistance point that I had initially identified. And then came right back down to the buy range that I was looking for. Now, I think there are reasons why I think this chart has still been invalidated. This wasn't really expecting this massive downturn that happened. This was expecting more of a longer peter out to get here. But that's okay. I do think, like I was saying, it leads to some updates to this chart of how I'm thinking about Stellar Lumens in the near future. If you follow the channel or have listened to my analysis a couple times, you know that Stellar Lumens is a coin that we are pretty bullish on in the long term. We're looking at what we see as some of the best news announcements for any cryptocurrency out there, teaming up with countries. The idea of doing remittances via cryptocurrency makes a lot of sense. And frankly, there are countries that are starting to show a lot of interest and team up with the developers behind the project. So a lot of good stuff going on with Stellar and Stellar XLM. So let's hop over to the updated chart. A couple weeks ago, I think I posted this, or I didn't post this one, but I edited to this one where I had moved, reset the overall chart, got rid of the floating resistance line up there, flipped this floating resistance into support. Frankly, I don't know why I'm calling it floating at this point. That's just a resistance line or support that got flipped resistance, and I still think we got a little bit more down to go. Of course, Bitcoin could pucker up and we head back up, but there seems to be cause for concern. But really, I'm looking at any of these potential ranges for purchasing. I think these are great areas for me to be buying longs. And I mean, the current, my expectation is that we re-hit 70, 80 cents in the nearest future, possibly before the end of the year. But the main question is when do I get in for the right returns on Stellar? And I think what I'm really aiming for is I really want to hit this 20 cents mark. I did get a bunch of Stellar back in November, December, when it was disgustingly cheap. And that, of course, did really well for me. So I'm hoping I can get more in at around 20 cents. If we get all the way back to this 11 cents support line, I'm going to be really hard-pressed to stack up some Stellar. Because I still think this is a project that has legs, and especially if we look at stuff like how Stellar is responding to charts like Bitcoin dominance. All right, that's not. Bless me. that's a bad. Let's get Bitcoin dominance out of there. Let's just do basic. Let's just add the Bitcoin to USD. So obviously tracking somewhat similarly here. I think the important thing to note though is that Stellar also moves in the other direction at times when Bitcoin is ranging or having slight increases. It will fly. Obviously right here, it's just tiny Bitcoin drop, but that day saw a 11% return in the day alone for Stellar. So the correlation between these two is interesting, and a lot of the times it does path together, but the highs sure seem to run away with Stellar. But let's look at something else. Let's go ahead and look at, let's compare Tezos, another cryptocurrency. So again, we're getting really similar moves, which makes sense. I mean, the altcoins tend to move similarly. Let's for shits and giggles, let's go ahead and put Doge on here and see what Doge looks like versus Stellar. Alright, that is not. Unreadable. Yeah, so interesting. Obviously Doge has outperformed Stellar a little bit, and even recently, with some of this downward momentum, Doge seems to be doing quite a bit better, which is interesting. I mean, don't bet against the memes when it's meme time. It's a pretty good lesson to learn. Yeah, but this is kind of what we're thinking. We're really looking for these 3 support lines, and I think getting to this 20-cent line would be really nice to set up this near-term 300% return. If we can get to this 11 cents line, so I might be buying a lot of Stellar. 600% return. That is pretty dandy. But overall, interesting things happening. We've certainly invalidated this upward trend line, which possibly time to just delete. I know a lot of people are about to be sad, but it's over. It's done, folks. We're in a bear market. We're in bear movements right now. And let's see if I can go ahead and oof, yeah, I mean, this just really does look like a sort of some downward pressure. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. Nice little bear flag there. Oof. Oof. That looks nasty. That don't look good to me. But we could always bounce off of here. I wouldn't be surprised. Nothing surprises me anymore, frankly. I'm done having expectations. I'm just trying to rationally buy. Because that's what seemed to work, is following through on the charts and patterns that I put into play, and not FOMOing with all the FOMOers out there. So hey, appreciate you checking out this video. Go ahead and hit the subscribe on the channel if you like this sort of just basic chart analysis that we do. A lot of support and resistance, a lot of longer time frames. We're not looking for drawing faces or making things up on the chart. We're really just looking for following market momentum and looking at the places where it's likely to pass through. It's not a science, it's closer to an art. There's a lot of educated guessing too. So, if you've got any thoughts here, go ahead and let me know in the comments. Otherwise, again, not financial advice. Make sure to subscribe, and appreciate you stopping by. Have a great day, folks.